Welcome back to Jface Games, and yes, the title is a little clickbaity because there's this debate that goes on in the TTRPG community about orcs and about different sort of lineages, ancestries, races in general, about should any of them be inherently evil, right? And I get it. And my opinion on this is, I don't want this to be a cop-out, but it's in essence sort of like, whatever you need to play at your table and your table's cool with, go for it. I understand both sides of it, right? Like, I understand that there's a group of individuals who they want their classic good versus evil. They don't want to have to think about any sort of gray, oh, could this person be good versus evil? No, they just wanted to play a heroic game, Indiana Jones versus the Nazis, Lord of the Ring versus, the orcs in that sort of setting where they are the bad, this is the good, and they just want to go at it, right? They just want that. And there are other people that want a little bit more realism in their game, and when I say realism, I mean more real-world simulation in a way. And they don't like the idea of, I think the phrase is predetermination, where it's like, oh, you are this because you're this, right? You are evil because you're an orc in this scenario. And for them, they don't like that because of the relation of that to sort of more real-world systemic problems, okay? I totally get it, right? So when it comes down to it, it's very much sort of like, what's your table need? Right? Does your or what does your table agree with, or what is your table okay with? And there's a lot of images in the interweb where you have, this is sort of that classic orc, the first edition orc, which is this sort of like, it's supposed to just be a mindless killing machine, right? And that's what a certain camp wants. They want this orc that's just going to be, when I see it, I know it, and I need to kill it because it's evil. And if you look at more the 2024 D&D, like, orc is a playable race. I've played orcs. I love playing orcs. And I didn't play them as mindless brutes either. I played them with nuance. But I can understand that sometimes you want to play a nuanced character and sometimes you don't, right? Sometimes you just want to play a little bit more of a hack and slash, and that's okay. That's okay to have that sort of, I just want to be heroic hack and slash, and I want to know who the bad guys are, right? I think that there was a period of time during 2020 where this is a side topic, but during 2020, I think there was a period of time where people were comfort watching Lord of the Rings because there was no gray in it, besides Gandalf the Grey. No, but there was supposed to be no gray in it. It was like, there's the bad guys, there's the good guys. I understand it, right? Whereas there's a trend in a lot of books and a lot of television shows that they live in the gray, and for some people that's taxing. It's emotionally taxing, and that's not what they're wanting, right? So we have this thing that I consider the Orc Dilemma. And how can you potentially deal with this Orc Dilemma in a different way, right? So how can I have a known evil, meaning that these are the bad guys, and there is no questioning it. That's in essence what this is a dilemma over. It's not a dilemma over, oh, I want orcs to be bad. Maybe some people aren't. I mean, let's be honest. When it comes to the internet, you probably have this much people care about it on this side of the we want orcs to be bad. This many people care about it in terms of we want orcs to be nuanced. And then you have this huge group in the table that's just, or the middle, that's just sort of like, look, I don't care. Play your game. You do you, I'll do me, right? But the idea is that it's people, the group that wants them to be bad, I think it's that they want to have an evil bad guy that they don't have to question morally in fighting. Because a lot of people, these games, this is where we get to tactical game versus narrative, maybe. That there's some people that want the narrative, they want the emotions, they want the drama, they want the story. And there's some people that I just want to play a little bit more of a miniatures game where we're having beer and we're having pretzels and we're having pizza and we're having a good time. We're making jokes and we're fighting and slaughtering things. Not like hobos. We're still heroes. Like, I'm not just killing things. But I know that this person's evil, or these things are evil, and we're fighting them, right? So this is what they want. And what I think is interesting is that Shadow the Weird Wizard, which I've been playing recently a lot, has a very cool way of doing orcs. And I think that they pseudo-solved it. And so let's look at the orc, right? This is the orcs in Shadow the Weird Wizard. And it's a sickness. It's a magical sickness or a disease. Now, disease even might be a hot word for some people. So maybe you make it curse. You know, some people might not like the word disease because there are real life diseases that people get sort of like labeled, and that's just not fair to them. So maybe we say some sort of curse, magical curse. But once it happens, your soul is gone, right? Your soul is gone, and there is now there is no soul. Maybe it's just mindless. But what's cool about these orcs in this setting is that anything can technically be an orc. So this is the orc transformation process, and this is showing you what you add to anything. You can have an orc bear. You can have an orc dragon. You can have an orc whatever, because you just add these labels to it. So does it have your typical orc humanoids in here? Absolutely. Here are your typical orc humanoids. Here are some stat blocks for them. Lots of cool stat blocks. Yada, yada, yada. And these are probably some sort of humanoid that's been turned into an orc. Great. But the fact that it then also has this sort of like transformation block here is really interesting and really fun. And so I had my party fight against some orcs, and I made an orc bear. That's why I brought it up. It was a bear with some orc characteristics because it had been cursed. And then they were also having to deal with someone who was mid-transformation. Could they heal this person and bring them back? So I still got to have a little bit of that gray area of this person's not fully transformed yet. Can we stop them from being transformed before then we have to, you know, potentially put them out of their misery, etc. It's kind of like the zombies, right? When you think about zombies in movies, that's sort of what I think the people that want orcs to be killers want. They want the zombies, zombie apocalypse, right? But they just want them to have more calculating intelligence, and that's where it gets tricky. It's like they want zombies because they want something that's evil, it's going to kill everything, etc. But they also want it to be tactically intelligent, because then that makes it so that the gameplay is more interesting, right? Because now you have an opponent that is worthy again, you know, to fight against. So that's the trick. Anyways, that's a quick little short video. I am enjoying Shadow the Weird Wizard a lot. It's got its hang-ups. Some point in time I'll talk about the pros and cons, potentially. But I'm really enjoying it, and I thought this was really cool how, in their lore, they made orcs a curse, or a disease in this game, but a curse, in essence, a magical curse that burns away your soul, and you're left with this, and that anything can technically be an orc. So, maybe you add that to your game. Maybe you add that into your lore. Curious what you guys think. Hit the bell, hit the subscribe, hit the blah, 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 blah. See any of these videos above. I'll talk to you guys later.